Steel region. Finland has announced a new military aid package for Ukraine worth more than $200 million. This brings the total of number of aid from the Nordic country for Ukraine to $3.1 billion. President Alexander Stubb approved the package worth almost $207 million. This reportedly brings the value of the defense equipment delivered by Finland to Ukraine to $3.1 billion. Finland's defense minister Antti Hakanen says his nation is providing exactly the kind of support that will help Ukraine defend itself in an acute situation on the war front. Last year, Finland and Ukraine signed a 10-year agreement on security cooperation. Finland became the 8th NATO member this year. So move on to other matters now. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, says his 25% trade tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China will begin today. Fielding questions from journalists, President Trump said his decision is based on population control and life safety. He further explained that America has very big deficits with big countries.
I'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time. Countries that won't take back their criminals that they sent into us, you know, they sent them to us. They put them into the caravans and they came in. As sure as you're standing there, they were sent by those countries. Then they're going to be met very harshly with sanctions, etc.
Well, from the beginning, Trump has been preaching sanctions, sanctions, sanctions. For more on President Trump's tariffs on his red flag nations, foreign affairs analyst Kelechi Deka joins me here to discuss this point now. Now, Kelechi, these three countries have a free trade agreement with the United States. They are the United States' biggest trade partner. But isn't this a contrast to that agreement?
Yeah, well, aside from being a contrast, there are a lot of contrasts we are also going to experience in the next few weeks. And some of these are going to have a lot of repercussions throughout the next 3 years, or let's say 4 years of the Trump administration. First and foremost, there is the North American Free Trade Agreement. If the United States want to pull out of the North American Free Trade Agreement, the first thing they should do is to either call for an amendment or they say, okay, they are going to pull out. The same way they say they are going to pull out from the World Health Organization. So using trade means of tariff to sort out diplomatic issues is quite archaic. And I think that why Trump is doing this basically is because it appeals to his base who see things from his own points of view. But what they don't also understand is that when you look at some of these products, you're going to increase tariffs on. Tariffs, yes, it might work, but every tariff you impose on a product also have a dual effect. It has an effect on the person you are imposing, and also it has an effect on the economy that that is imposing the tariff. But if you are goods that you are importing, those goods also going to escalate. Especially if you're dealing with China, a lot of Chinese products also have a lot of
Kelechi, now we'll quickly go on a short break. Please hold your thoughts there. And when we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay talking about the tariff imposed by the United States on Canada, Mexico, and of course it's 3 on China, three of its biggest trade partner, our foreign affairs analyst, Kelechi Deka, who was talking to us about this development.